Welcome to Game of Roses. I'm Bachelor Clues, and today we have a very special guest. She was the ring winner of The Bachelor Season 16, the greatest villain player of all time. She is the host of the After Reality podcast. I am humbled and honored to be joined by the Courtney Robertson. Thank you.
Woo, the crowd goes wild. I am humbled and honored. Thank you for having me. Always a good time.
Yes, please. It's my pleasure. I thought it would be fun to have you on today and just kind of go over a bunch of stuff, but a year in review of the Bachelor franchise, what we saw, where we went, what was good, what was bad. Exactly. That's a big piece of this. But catch us up. What are you up to? What have you been doing lately?
Oh, man, it's been quite the year, honestly. My baby, Gabriel, is 18 months, and he started daycare about 2 weeks before I left for the Bachelor Mansion Takeover, which we will get to.
Absolutely.
And obviously, it's a fine dance, but wild time. I haven't been back on television since, my time on The Bachelor. So I was 28. Yeah. Now I'm 42. You do the math.
I can't.
I can't either.
That's my math is way worse. So I'm just going to leave that there. I'll say that much.
The listeners can, carry the one. I don't know. But, we're right into the holiday season and it was a lot to process for me, honestly, because I haven't been on television in so long and I have 3 kids now. So there's more at stake leaving. And I was gone filming for a long time. It was a game show to win cash in the Bachelor Mansion, which was kind of trippy because the last time I was there, I was in it to win it. Clearly, I did, and I came out on the other end being the villain. So it was just it kind of was triggering in many ways, but families amongst other things. Okay. And at the top here, I just want to say thank you to you. I'm still podcasting, doing After Reality. I love it. Got some great. I've been kind of. I don't know. I covered Mel Owen, Sleepy Mel. Do you guys have a name for him? It was so hard to cover for me.
Well, Jared Freed called him Tommy Bahama Frankenstein. And that, for us, that kind of stuck. I thought that was a very apt way of describing him because he was just kind of, stumbling around. He's so low energy.
Get him a Celsius. I'm having a Celsius right now, actually. Get him a Topo Chico, gingerine, whatever.
Little green tea. But yeah, there was a moment in that season where Jesse Palmer put out an Instagram post where he was like, Mel's just taking a nap on set. And Mel was sleeping on a couch like Dracula, like with his hands crossed over his chest. And I was just like, that's how you're trying to promote the show as a fun show to watch by showing the lead literally asleep like a mummy. So, it was a wash. Well, let's get into this. Let's get into the year in review of Bachelor. We're going to kind of dovetail this into the show you're talking about, The Bachelor. What did it wind up being called?
I think it's the Bachelor Mansion Takeover. It's airing in February, HGTV, and it's going to stream on HBO. And 12 former contestants competing for $100,000. HGTV is amazing, but there was also interesting elements where it was also Bachelor producers and HGTV producers. And I met Jesse Palmer.
As you know, I know a little bit about this.
Well, so I wanted to thank you. You've been you and Lizzie both, but you helped me get After Reality off the ground. And it's fair to say that I called you a couple times.
Yes.
I'm just going to leave that
I don't want to expose anything you don't want to expose, but I will just say.
I was able to call my friends in the evening or after a hard day. We only had one day off a week from filming. And oh man, just breathe it in, sigh it out. I thought it was going to just be, when you're competing for $100,000, I guess, and their design challenges. I'll walk it back. Jesse Palmer was the host, and Tyler and Tasha Adams were the judges. So, and then each week, there's going to be a guest judge. So, but yeah, it was wild. 12 contestants, a couple Goldens, and I thought it was just going to be like, I don't know, like swinging hammers. And the challenges were, I think the fans are going to love it because put 12 former Bachelor contestants in a house and dangle a carrot of money, and the personalities come out. The money's in the back of everybody's minds, and $100,000. It's for some people, a life-changing amount of money.
And I mean, let's just have this conversation about this up front. Then we'll get into the Bachelor shit. I also think like it's a really interesting premise for a show in terms of what it's doing to the franchise as a whole. That house, Villa de la Vina, where they have shot every season, pretty much every season of The Bachelor and Bachelorette since about season 14, I think is when they locked it in. I could be wrong. It might be season 12. At any rate, a long time ago, over a decade ago, is when they started shooting there. Now, you guys all get to come in there and radically change what that mansion looks like. So you've added new little locations. You've zhuzhed up a few of the rooms. And you're doing all this, by the way, weeks before they're about to shoot Taylor Frankie Paul's season. So her season will be the first one that kind of shows off the new mansion with all the different challenges that you guys did, which is pretty cool.
I love seeing the promo because I could see some things that, I might have had a hand in. And I think it goes back to everything that you and Lizzie talk about all the time too. It's like, did they make changes soon enough?
Yeah.
I've been watching, Mormon Housewives. I always call it Mormon Housewives. The Secret Lives of Mormon. Oh, okay.
Secret Lives of Mormon Housewives.
Oh, okay.
Or Mormon. See, no, it's called.
See,
sorry, I'm so sorry.
I just did it to you. I do the same thing.
You did. You Jedi mind tricked me. It's called The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. These are not housewives. Right. These are wives out in the world doing businesses and having millions of followers and all that.
And swinging and TikToking. And I started watching that when I was in California filming because it was a lot of scuttlebutt. Like getting the mansion ready. Also, the timing of it's interesting because they just announced that her season's not airing till March. And I kept thinking like, how is our show going to air, after her show airs? Because the mansion looks completely different.
Right. So your show, I'm sorry, you said it was airing in February?
Ours is, yeah.
Early February?
I think the 22nd or 26th.
Oh, wow. And how many episodes is it?
I'm not 100% sure. I think less than that. I think,
maybe 8.
Maybe like 6 or 7.
And do you think they're dumping it all at once?
I don't think so. I can't imagine.
Fascinating. So it may be a circumstance where the renovation show is still airing while Taylor Frankie's show starts. Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I think. Well, I mean, or maybe they do a streaming because it's going to be on HBO Max. But
yeah,
that's a good question. I'll report back.
Okay, I'm curious. Let me ask you this: do you want to, or can you talk about, like you're saying, texting friends? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why we wouldn't.
Okay. Fine. Let's do it.
I think we should.
Okay. I'll just say this. For me, it was one of the, maybe the highlight of coaching any reality players for anything that I ever have, because it was happening in real time. Mm-hmm. You would text me like, oh shit, here's what happened today. What should I do about this situation, that situation? And I'd literally be like writing you little speeches and stuff. And I cannot wait to watch this show to see how that translated. But it was, I can't thank you enough for, talking to me while you were in the middle of shooting it and getting to like give you some advice and write some little things. It was so much fun.
Oh gosh. Well, Chad, I couldn't thank you enough because, you get into the environment and I got caught up, and
for sure,
and not in a negative way, but you do. I think some people forgot too, that you're mic'd up all day, every day. And there were things that were going on, people making, what do you call it? Like allies or, forming bonds and like little, what is the word? Gosh,
alliances,
teams.
Okay.
And that was happening very early on. And then those would shift. And, I was listening to an episode you were talking about Andrew Spencer and his girl, and they were on Joe and Serena's podcast talking about.
I think, I believe they've been on Bachelor Happy Hour. They also recently were on Dear Shandy.
But maybe it was that, but talking about, making friendships with all the producers and that kind of thing. And, I went into this like, oh my gosh, I cannot come out the villain. Like, I have 3 kids, like I'm leaving them for a long time. But, you can teach an old Courtney new tricks, right? And it was so nice to have you in my corner. And there were a lot of younger contestants that I don't think really knew who I was or what I did in game.
Yeah. But you see, like, that same kind of tone, I think, happened in the first season of House of Villains with Omarosa. It was like there were a bunch of younger players who didn't know who she was. And it's like, that's Omarosa. I feel the same way about you. You really were, like, in my opinion, a foundational player in launching the modern era of the game, where you can do more like straight gameplay that's against for the right reasons. And I mean, we all saw it. You won that season. And I think in a dominating fashion, there was never a question of whether you were going to win it or not from day one, really. And I just think that, like, the modern players, especially of Bachelor, some of them understand the gameplay patterns very well because they are coached on it. But, like, the ones who don't really don't, and they don't get the history of what this is, which I find fascinating. It's like, if you look at almost any other pro sport, generally speaking, the top players of that sport will have a pretty good idea of the history of that sport and who the big players were and, strategies and whatever. But it just doesn't seem to be happening that way in Bachelor. But let's segue into this season of Bachelor. I want to take a look back.
And thank you 2025 for being a good friend for me. I think you'll be proud.
My pleasure. Yeah, I literally can't wait to see it. And also, for what it's worth, I know you're saying, like, you were 28 when you were last on TV and all this shit, but it's like, some people just got it. And I think you're one of those people. And I don't think it matters how much time has passed. And hopefully this will be, the first dipping of the toe back into the waters to, I don't know what the good analogy is, or jump in, do a cannonball off the high dive this next year.
Seeing that there. Yeah. I mean, I definitely stretched my legs.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Oh, you know what I was going to ask you was, what was, if you can discuss this, what was the difference between the HGTV producers and the Bachelor producers? And did they get along? Were they separate factions fighting each other for dominance?
I think this was the first time. I don't know if they're going to do another one because there's still talk about the mansion. Like, it looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
A little fun fact here is, obviously paint was involved. And I didn't know this, that they paint the mansion every new season.
Huh.
For each season,
that's interesting.
They paint the mansion, and so they pulled a chip of like off the wall, and it was like a half an inch thick, and you could see every color that the mansion had ever been painted. Incredible. Yeah, I was like, can I keep that?
Yeah, that chip's cool.
Yeah, but
it's like an archaeological thing.
Oh, totally. I don't even think they knew. Like, I had heard, and that's another thing. Is like talking to my friends. Like, I called Alon Gale. He had. Like, he knew some stuff. I got some insider information, like who's going to be there, that kind of stuff. And he's like, I think they're having a hard time figuring out like the challenges of the show. And I mean, it's like somebody's home too. The guy lives there half the time of the year, the owner.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. Met him too.
I didn't know that.
But I would say, yes, everybody got along really nicely, but there were some, I think, like, it took us a while to hit our stride. Like, the HGTV producers, as far as like the interviews go, the ITMs, so different. Like, I didn't feel like and they were all HGT producers that were doing the interviews, but there were some handlers and stuff that were there that like have been working on the show forever, and they were like, wrangling us. And there was, I did see a little bit of friction of like, hey, we know this show and we know ours, so like, let's come together.
Yeah, interesting. I wonder, do you know who the showrunner was? Was it a Bachelor person or an HGTV?
Amazing. Loved him. He was just like, and like you could just tell he was like, oh my God, like he's like done Survivor. He's done so many other shows, but like some of the HGTV producers have done like Below Deck. Like they didn't know who pretty much any of us are.
That's fascinating. Huh.
Yeah, well, but you would like, this showrunner was incredible. He's like, got it. Like, it was just very like, so I wish they would have filmed behind the scenes, but a lot of female dominated, like the EP from Warner Brothers, which I do want to touch on, was one of the persons, she's like, once this show landed in my lap, it was so sweet. She's like, you were the first person that came to mind. And
Oh, wow.
a lot of them were producers or the higher ups have kids too. So I think that they understood like, okay, this is a big deal for her.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I'm so glad that you got this opportunity, and I hope the show does well. And like I said, I feel pretty confident it's going to open some doors for you to get into some of these other third wave shows.
Maybe. I mean, I would love to go on Traitors, but I don't know. I might be small hat for that. But, I was in talks to do House of Villains, and now I'm like, this was like a much better place for me to start to kind of get my voice back. And
and now House of Villains.
With the help of you.
Look, I'm here for the fucking long haul. I'm going to help you try to win every goddamn game you get in. House of Villains, I think I've studied that one at this point quite a bit. I think we'll be okay.
We'll see. We shall see. But we should dive into. I know Lizzie's on maternity leave. Shout out to Lizzie. But I'm so happy to be here today. I've been listening to your show religiously. I'm a massive pit dweller. But the Mel Owens, your impression of him. I mean, I'll let you steer this ship.
I've retired it. I mean, that's not true, but okay, well, let's dive into it. 2025, the Bachelor franchise. It began with, in January, Grant Ellis's Bachelor season 29. Say what you will about it. There was a lot that came out of that season. Good, bad, mainly bad.
Crazy the relationship, and evil.
Yeah, crazy and evil. That was fantastic. And then we also had him and Juliana, his ring winner. They broke up. I want to say it was in June, and the season stopped airing late February. So they had March, April, and May, and that was it. They were together for about 3 months. And it was kind of this, for me, that season really was just like a final period on a long run-on sentence that had been a series of declining seasons for the past, 5 years, really, since the pandemic, I think. What were your overall thoughts of Grant's season?
I liked Grant. He was easy on the eyes. I felt like we didn't know a lot about him. I think that just to start off here, I think that the issue that has been happening for me, in my opinion, is casting. I think that there's been an issue in casting, not the contestants, but the leads. Obviously, we saw that with Mel, amongst so many other things, a lack of change. But I enjoyed his season. I thought he was a likable guy. I think his game post show now and the breakup. I mean, I think she broke up with him, as from what I've heard. But
there was that whole controversy of they were at her friend's house or something. Do you remember this?
No.
And they made an Instagram reel together where they were like, I forget what the nature of the reel was. Let's say maybe they were dancing. I don't remember what it was exactly. But in the background, there was a dry erase board that had something about Trump. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that blew up. And then she took that down. This was on her Instagram account, and then put it back up with the background blurred out so you couldn't read it. And she maintained that was her friend's house and she didn't know anything about it. People were like, she's MAGA. And that became like a big point of contention, at least within Bachelor Nation, within the fourth audience, the discourse online. And so then they broke up kind of shortly thereafter. But it, to me, like, that season didn't do very well in the ratings. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't like a Mel Owens season.
He had some good players out of it. Latia, I heard that she's going on Mormon Wives.
Yes, she's supposed to be in the next season 4. I mean, look, I bought her damn hat.
I love that hat.
Come on now.
Can I just take a moment with merch here and just say that they're selling I Didn't Come Here to Make Friends shirts on, look at that hat.
Have you seen, you're talking about the Bachelor official...
Annoying to me.
Yeah, it's very bad. It's just low effort. Like the fandom of Bachelor Nation is so deep. And at this point, like we're talking about, there's so many people that the EP of that show was like, you're the first person I thought of. There's so many people who have been watching this show for such a long time that it's like a part of our media identity as viewers. And to have a merch thing that's just like, here's the logo and one catchphrase that's been around for 20 years. It's like, that's not, what are you doing? I want an entire series of leads and ring winners on t-shirts, with their catchphrases, with funny moments from every season, because we all, not all of us, but anybody listening to this who's in the pit, we all remember all that shit. And it holds like a very special place to us. And if you want us to buy something, it's not going to be a t-shirt with the Bachelor logo on it, you know?
Oh, well, and my book, obviously I didn't come here to make friends. The shirt says didn't come here to make friends. I mean, they don't want the contestants making money off the franchise. When I wrote my book, I didn't come here to make friends. I couldn't use the word Bachelor on the cover or pretty much anywhere in the book. And, you know, it's funny. Sam McKinney was on the show with me. He was a contestant, you know, keep the main thing, the main thing. Yeah. Now they're starting to like trademark those things so he can't sell merch with that on it. Crazy and evil. Like that's, I think to me, a little greedy.
Absolutely. And it's also just like
he said that and now he can't sell merch with that on it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yet they can because he said it on their show. And it goes back to, I'm sorry to yard sell here, but like, I don't get the screeners. They basically indefinitely said, you're never going to get them. I have like, I just wish that they would, you know, they've got their people, their, you know, Sean Lowe's and all these golden people. Like I felt like the black sheep for so long. Like they do try to kind of, I felt like silence you in a certain way. But yeah, I mean, I just got like, I'm going to get screeners for Love is Blind and I've been loving Married at First Sight. And I just don't think like they're like, so they need to think outside the box in that sense. Like I would be glad to promote the show if I could get the screeners, but like for me, it's just kind of like a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, this is just my 2 cents on the matter. And this is conjecture based on a lot of things that I've seen and heard and whatever. So, I mean, this is not like anything but my opinion, but I think that there is in The Bachelor, the whole series is based on a lie at its core, that this is a thing where we're trying to help you find love. That has never been the case. It's always about making a show about people having nervous breakdowns for the viewing pleasure of the fourth audience. That's what it's always been. And there's something like inherent in that, like we can't let anybody see behind the curtain, that I think it's like this weird culture of control exists in The Bachelor and all these reality shows. But The Bachelor like is a special kind of breed of it, I think. And I think that extends out into having any player do anything outside the exact parameters of whatever the producers are saying you can or can't do, including writing books, making merch, et cetera, et cetera. But Latia Gar did it. She has the hat and she beat him to the punch. Maybe, I don't know. But the bottom line is the things that they are making with these catchphrases are terrible. It's just bad merch, you know? And I don't know if anybody's buying it. The Bachelor
logo with the ring, it's like, Come on now.
It's an afterthought. It's like, I remember we went to Bachelor Live on Stage. This has got to be 3 or 4 years ago when it was out here in LA at the Ace Theater, Ace Hotel downtown, a super nice, old, cool hotel. And we walked into the lobby and I was like, what the hell is this? They had like one little thing set up, like a tarp kind of thing, like a background with the Bachelor logo on it, so you could take pictures in front of it. They had one little stand that had a white t-shirt with the Bachelor logo on it, and that was it. That was the whole thing. And I was like, this is insane. They're not doing anything with this. And I feel like that's kind of how they treat all that. But
they gotta elevate it, especially with the cruise coming up. We'll see.
Well, that's part of this 2025 thing. So we had Grant Ellis' season, which was not like a disaster, but it wasn't great. Then we get the announcement, no Bachelorette this year. How did that land with you?
You know, I was talking to a couple of contestants that I had a couple of friends reach out to me and they had friends that were in talks to be the next Bachelor. They were, from what I gather, they were trying to find somebody new. Not from a previous season. I have spent a lot of time talking to them and I'm like, are you sure? Like, and
I was coaching some of those bachelors.
I'm sure you were. I was low key as well. And like, you know, did everything, the background check, the psych tech, the STD check, all of that stuff.
They got very far in the process. And then at least from my end, ghosted.
Oh, ghosted. Yep. Same on mine. Ghosted,
so bizarre.
Like at the final minute, because then they flipped it. So one of them, they said, okay, well, we'll make you the Bachelor, but you have to go on Taylor Frankie Paul's season. And he's like, hey, look, I'm not really interested. They're like, no, we'll make sure you get far enough. So we'll make you the Bachelor. but that we also think that you're really going to like her. So I think that I was kind of like, that's my focus, was like, okay, who are they going to make the next Bachelor? This is like a chance to, maybe, I mean, we saw how it went with Mel Owens, Guy from the Sky. I mean, justice for Jonathan Roan. I think that he would have been,
God, I know,
a far more interesting.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, I wish I had something to show you. This bookshelf would have been more interesting to watch. I mean, seriously, it was like watching paint dry. Thank goodness Peg has more personality than all those contestants combined. We'll get there, but we saw a lot with Nicole or Nicholi. I don't know how she says her name. Great, but
I think it's just Nicole.
Okay. Oh man. Oh, but yeah, I mean, I was there for it. I was like, okay, this might be what the franchise needs. Like, okay, fresh crop of girls, like, I don't know. So then we find out it's Taylor, Frankie, Paul, and they pulled the rug out from under a lot of the guys. I can't wait to see what her contestants say. I bet all the contestants were in talks to be the next Bachelor.
I don't think all of them were, because I talked to some guys too that reached out to me that were not in that potential Bachelor pool, who were like in the player pool, basically. I'm curious about that season too. It's going to be pretty fascinating, especially because for me, that announcement that there was going to be no Bachelorette, I thought like the franchise was basically dead, because I was like, if you're skipping for me, that kind of like 2-part narrative component, which is Bachelor, and then you follow a player through that season and she becomes the Bachelorette. That's really the backbone of the entire franchise, in my opinion. The Bachelors, like the guys that are selected to be the Bachelors, I think are actually less important than watching a player go through the Bachelor and become the Bachelorette. To not have that, I was like, well, that's it. You just shattered the entire thing. Like, where is that kind of year-long narrative thread that we follow now? It doesn't exist. And there was an ABC executive gave an interview where he said, we may not do a Bachelor or Bachelorette every year. It depends on casting. Right. And I was just like, they're flushing this thing. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the end. And I felt that way too. I really did. And they had a lot of movement, with Bennett and Claire leaving. Yeah. And it seems like, from what I hear, there's a lot of former producers. I met a couple of them, or that still work on the show, that are getting offered jobs on other shows, these third wave shows. Yeah. Also the Taylor, Frankie, Paul thing and the, what was it, Jimmy Kimmel thing, that was kind of political. Totally. And there were people that were getting offered to come work on her season that were like, hey, I've got this offer over here on this hit show. Maybe it pays a little bit less, but I want to be, like branching out into that. Maybe I don't want to be attached to this franchise anymore.
No, totally. And that was kind of part of this. There was a huge change that happened in The Bachelor when that happened, when they got rid of Bennett Graebner and Claire Freeland, who were the two showrunners for the past like 3 or 4 years roughly. But Claire Freeland was the one who made the decision to have Jen Tran watch back the Devon Strader proposal. And that to me was kind of the nail in the coffin, or seemingly. They got rid of them and then basically brought in Scott Teddy to be the new showrunner for a season of Paradise that we got to see this season after they skipped it last year. And he cleaned house. He just brought in his own crew. Very few people who were kind of like lifer Bachelor producers are still in the mix at all. And so for me, that it was like, okay, well, maybe they're attempting to reboot this, basically to give it to somebody else creatively, to get rid of all the old bad blood and like see what they can do. And what we saw was Bachelor in Paradise season 10. Thoughts?
Man, oh man, it was a good watch. I watched it. I was there for it.
I did watch it.
Kathy,
yes.
I mean, come on, Kathy.
Yeah, brought
the comic relief.
100%.
I think a total missed opportunity is Sam McKinney, and now he's with his girl. And what's her name? Gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm so bad with names. It's my mom brain. But he was down there, Sam, and then he was, he's now with somebody that it was like they both went down there wanting to meet each other. It reminds me of Christina Mandrell and Brayden, who are now married. Yeah. And I think it goes back to what you were saying about, fundamentally, do you want these couples to last? Allegedly, Dale and Kat are broken up. Love Kat. She's there. Yeah, she's unfollowed him, and it was interesting to see the dynamics, and I've lived through this through events and hell, even just filming the show. Like, Joan Vassos was there, and it was like she was just recently a lead, and I'm somebody who hasn't been on it in a while. And that kind of what comes along with like somebody who was a ring winner or went to the end, and like how they get treated versus, I don't know, you fill in the blank. But the Goldens was a little bit much. Gosh, I'm trying to think what else happened. Dale Moss showing up. I started to say, like, it was like royalty. Like, panties were dropping. Everybody was like, Dale's here. Oh my God. Like, people that were coupled up were like,
totally.
It was like, I mean, good casting, right? Like,
yes,
where's Dale?
It was fascinating.
He doesn't even look like the same person. Like, we saw him. I wish they would have showed like more of his backstory or pried on him a little bit more. But he was like the golden boy on sand.
He was, and still is, I mean, always will be, historically speaking, one of the most interesting players ever of all time, because he was responsible for the only like broken season. He walked out of that limo and that was it. Claire was like, she literally said on camera, that's my husband or whatever, and that was the end of the show. He ended the show, or technically he ended his half of the show and took a bachelorette out of her season in episode 4. They had to bring in Tayshia to finish out that season. So we never really got to see him play. All we got to see him do was step out of a limo. He didn't have to deal with other guys, really. He didn't have to go on group dates or one-on-ones. He didn't have to do any of that shit. So me and Lizzie were like very excited to see what he could do on sand, and I got to say it was a little disappointing.
It was a little lackluster. He might have been hitting the rosé all day too hard. No judgment, I love my rosé, but Kat is so funny. I was happy she got her redemption story. I just had her ex on. She got engaged to John Henry.
Oh yeah.
The previous season through a
Forced
cake.
To do
like
it.
She talks about like how she could be a little unhinged. I mean, I like a little bit of drama. Alicia was obviously filmed with me on the Bachelor Mansion Takeover, her showing up with Sean, and there was that little bit of drama. I think the interesting thing was that I feel like it's one of those things that they're like, we'll just throw money. Like, it felt like an afterthought, like disjointed in the way that like, okay, it's so different. Like, if you're going to change things for Bachelor fans, especially the older audience, like they just did so many changes all at once.
And they were changes that weren't like well thought out. I think the money thing was probably a note from this. Again, I have no evidence of this, but this is what it seems like to me. It seems like ABC said, we need this to be more like Love Island. Well, at the end of Love Island, somebody wins a money prize. Okay, we'll do that. We also want the Goldens in it. Oh shit. But are they going to be dating the non-Goldens? I don't know. Figure that out.
We're going to make it look like it. Or belly shots, or maybe Jonathan walks back to the flirty boozy one.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? Whatever. Anything goes. And they also had no idea, I think, about how to roll out the money piece of it, because they didn't tell any of the players that until 2/3 of the way through the season. They were like, by the way, there's a $500,000 prize. It's going to be given to one couple. And everybody's like, what the fuck? What are we doing here then? And then you had people like Jonathan being like, well, maybe I can just fake this and win $500,000. And then even that at the end, it was like they said, okay, we'll choose to stay together. Now you pick from 3 randomized envelopes that have different money amounts in them, and you're going to split it or you're not. Or
it didn't make sense. It was like, let's just throw it against the wall and see what sticks. It's like, well, can't we keep the money, or just like break up, keep the money, and then date in real life? Like,
yes.
And when there's money involved, I just learned this from the show. There's so many like legalities, like that they have to read to you. This challenge isn't rigged
in America.
Oh, schnappers.
If they don't, like if you go like Traders, for example.
Yeah.
Just think about all the different game mechanics in that are completely not fair. Like in the last season, Boston Rob gets to just enter the game 3 rounds deep. So he's not there for the first 3 elimination rounds,
Not fair.
That gives him a massive advantage. Even just picking Traders versus Faithful. The Traders have a massive mathematical advantage because there is half of the ways that you can get kicked off the show, which is being murdered by the Traders, does not affect a Trader. So they have a huge, and all of that aside, when they put like a time clock on these games,
Yep.
That clock is not real. They are having people act as though it is, including Alan Cumming, obviously. But the players have to do it too. They have to shoot insert shots like, oh my God, we've only got 45 seconds left. There is no clock. That is a lie. So if you're shooting outside the US, it's my understanding. I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. The United States game show laws don't apply to those shows because it's out of their jurisdiction.
Interesting.
Right.
So, well, in Paradise, I mean, it was nice to see a new location. I'm not going to lie, and
yeah,
it seemed like
great.
It was storming all the time. And, I started to touch on like the Mormon Housewives show, like the music, the drone footage, like I wish it felt more like that. Like I even felt on Mo's season, like Mel Owens, Mello. Like it was glitchy. Like, yes, it looked better, but there were things, and my dad even said that, like people I know, like, I don't know if that's Frankenbiting or editing or whatnot, but I just wish that it like had that visual cinematography that like some of these other shows have.
Yeah, I will say Scott Teddy, like that was my big takeaway from Bachelor in Paradise season 10. It looked really good. And I think that they tried a bunch of stuff. Some of it worked, some of it didn't in terms of visual style. Like
the intros were horrible. Just give us one thing. Like just abysmal. Jesse Palmer, like when you're host of the show, and Wells Adams, which he kind of bothers me, like talking down on the contestants, like, you know what I mean? Like you choose what you're feeding to us. I basically majored in graphic design, like think outside the box, but it's like watching an advertisement. Like, are you going to want to buy a cheeseburger when someone's like, that's kind of good? Like, no, totally. It's like advertising 101. Like there was a lot of tomfoolery going on, and I'm a longtime watcher. And you know what I think, Chad? I think about the people that have been watching forever that don't look at it the way that we do, or maybe some of our podcast friends do, and see those things. Like I'd be like, what the hell am I watching?
But even if you're not overtly aware of these things, if you have been watching it for a long time, it's in you. You can tell that there's something changing, and you do feel either that's good or that's bad. And I like, we talked about this during season 10 when it was airing on this show, but I don't fault Scott Teddy for this. I do think a lot of these things were foisted upon him. I think the money prize, the use of Goldens, the demand that somebody has to be engaged. It's a lot of weird balls to juggle, or it's more like juggling a bowling ball, a bowling pin, and a chainsaw. It's like, this is all different shit. None of it goes together. And so he was kind of tasked with this impossible thing to do. And really,
I think he did really well with it, truthfully.
Yeah.
From a production standpoint, he did the impossible.
As good as he could have. It didn't have good ratings. People didn't like it, I think, kind of universally. But, it was good for him, I think, almost like trial by fire, to be forced to like deal with the Goldens, have this money prize, make it look better, do some weird editing shit. And so he got to use that almost as like a testing ground to see how he was going to treat the Bachelor franchise. This is how I'm choosing to view it, as a glass half full kind of guy, I guess.
Yeah.
But now we're going to see what he can really do with Taylor Frankie Paul. He is being given the main game with the biggest star who has ever helmed it. And if he botches this, I don't know what we can say about his kind of executive producing style at that point. But I do think at least what we're seeing coming out of her social media right now is very, to me, good. It's an encouraging sign that they're letting her basically do whatever the fuck she wants, make fun of the producers, show in her social media that she's controlling the producers. Yeah, exactly. The producers are her minions.
With Jesse Palmer, I mean.
Yeah, that stuff is great. And I think you're watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I'm on episode 7, I think, of season 3. I'm almost done with it.
I just finished season 3, and I just went back to watch the reunion show because I was listening to your episode. I didn't know Nick Viall was like hosting it, which I was like, what's this guy? Who let him in? Like, he's doing the not anymore. It sounds like they replaced him with Stassi for the But I'm watching it, and now your video that you did that probably went viral makes sense. He is just.
I know what one you're talking about.
Yeah, the
Go check it out on my
finale.
Instagram if you haven't seen it.
But I'm watching it. I'm like, oh God, Nick Viall, like he's here. God, the guy would show up to the opening of an envelope. I'm like, how did he get this job, this gig? So
say what you will about Vial. I believe he's the greatest player who's ever played Bachelor, and he has the biggest podcast of any ex-Bachelor player. So
Wild,
he's kind of, I can see how he would be the go-to guy for that thing because it's ABC, it's Hulu.
And he's interviewed a lot of them on his show. That's what I think that was a missing piece that I was like, because I don't really listen to his episodes that much, but he has interviewed a lot of them.
Yeah, he's leading an interesting career, and he keeps getting these chances to host things. I don't particularly think he's good at that. And he and Natalie Joy are hosting, I don't know if you've heard about this, a Netflix dating show called Age of Attraction that is about age gap dating. They are the co-hosts of it. And that's coming out sometime in 2026.
That's on the nose.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we know why they were selected for it, but I have watched him now host that reunion. I have watched him host a group date in Bachelor. I have watched him tried to act in several different things, network sitcom, Hallmark or Lifetime movie, a Halo Top commercial.
The guy has no quit.
And that's great. And
remember when he was doing the paintings, and he's even talked about it. Remember, what's the guy that used to do on TV, like PBS?
Oh, Bob Ross?
Yeah, he was doing Bob, but this is before his podcast.
I have to have one of those. Oh my God.
Yeah, and he was like documenting it. Like, this is before podcasting. He was like, I didn't know. I was like in LA, just moved to LA, trying to find my way. And he was like doing these shirtless, like Bob Ross paintings. I think he did his hair up like him.
Oh my God.
I mean, like, he has tried everything and has finally got, I think, everything he wants.
No, clearly not.
The fame, the notoriety.
He wants mainstream fame, though. He wants to be the host of a big Netflix show like Dark Lord Nick and Vanessa Lachey. He wants to be a Ryan Seacrest type. And maybe he'll get there. I don't know. But after watching him on Matchmaker, did you watch that with Patty Stanger?
No. Oh, you know what? I did watch that.
Okay. She's like a consummate pro, perfect on camera every time, never misses, talent. Fantastic. He was put into that, like crowbarred into that show to be her co-host, and he just got edited out of it. Like, if they didn't absolutely need him in a scene, cut that shit out because he was terrible. There's a nervousness to him that doesn't work for television hosts. And in his domain of the Vial files, I think obviously he's not nervous. He's controlling that whole thing. And so he has, no worries. But if he's in front of a camera that somebody else has control over and control over the edit and what's going to air, I think he gets too nervous. So I don't know. I'm curious to see that show that he and Natalie Joy are going to co-host.
I'll watch it. I think it's I think it's a tale as old as time, dating younger. And I think that's a thorn in his side. One thing to zig and zag here with you, Chad, is, this tell-all bombshell book that Gary Turner just released. I loved listening to him on a podcast, and they point blank ask him, well, how old's your new fiance? And he's like, I think she's 20 years younger. And he's like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. It's out there. You can Google it. And it's like, okay, so now he's engaged to this. I want to say it's like around 20 years younger. Maybe you could look it up. And then we had Mel who did that horrible podcast. His wife, who he was married to forever, was so much younger. So with the age thing, I think, celebrities, everybody in real life, it's a common thing that men date younger. And also women too. I mean, they've got to throw in some cougars.
I don't put whatever anybody's into, you can be into it. That's fine. No shame.
Love is love.
That, absolutely. I'm more looking at Vial as like, what is going to be his kind of legacy in The Bachelor and his legacy really in reality television. He is trying so hard to break out of that podcast and be something in a real, like streaming show or whatever. And it never has worked. Every attempt he has done to get beyond the world of I just talk about reality TV and The Bachelor, it just doesn't work. And the show on Netflix is going to be his first, I think, kind of
swing at that.
A big marquee, this is a Netflix show. It's the biggest streaming service in the world. Hundreds of millions of people will have access to watch that. Will it succeed or fail? And that isn't all on him. It's the format of the show and stuff as well. But I watched the first couple episodes of Are You My First? Did you check that out?
No. First of all, how are we vying to see if these people are actually virgins?
Well, that was the big controversy. Many of them were not.
I see. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's a little far-fetched for me. Was Latia on it?
No.
No, the guy that was on, was it
Katie's season, Mike Planeta. Yeah, he's on it. How
did that shake out without any spoilers? I mean,
I haven't finished it yet.
Watch?
Here's what I took away from the first two. I think maybe I watched the first 3 episodes. I can't remember how many I've watched. It's a handful, and I will finish the rest of it in our Patreon. Rest assured, everybody listening. But I'll say this: the hosts are Colton Underwood and Caitlin Bristow. Oh,
I did see that. They promoted the shit out of it.
Yeah, and they try to do a kind of Love Island-y type narrator thing. Mm-hmm. So they have them on camera every once in a while, greeting the players as they're coming to the island or whatever. But for the most part, their job is these voiceovers, kind of like Ian Sterling on Love Island, that are kind of bumpers in and out of scenes. They are horribly written. And I don't like, if you were given those scripts, it would be hard to make them funny or good in any way. That said, Caitlin Bristow at least is trying. She's like putting in some effort to try and make it funny or an emphasis on a word here or there, giving it something. Colton Underwood is beyond death. Anytime you hear him speak, you are just like, how is this guy doing? Why is he here? What has happened? And I get it. He was the Virgin Bachelor and all that. So at least
that makes sense. Well, there's been a lot of virgin, there's been a lot of virgins on The Bachelor.
Never Bachelor though. Never a lead. He was the first one.
Well,
other than Sean Lowe, if you want to
born again, which means
whatever. I'm a born again virgin too, every day.
Right.
It doesn't. I don't know. I think they picked him because he was like the Virgin Bachelor or whatever.
Well, it's funny. Then they go with Caitlin, who's like, so like I did. And that's maybe the yin and yang, right?
Exactly. And that's kind of the crux of the show is like, it's all these horny virgins and who's going to be the first one to have sex. Yeah. I mean, it's literally called Are You My First? So anyways, back to the Bachelor franchise. So we had BIP season 10. It was what it was. We then get this Bachelor cruise announcement. This is kind of an evolution of Bachelor Live on stage. It's going to be a fan service event. They're going to have a bunch of different Bachelor players on this cruise. I forget where it is going from. I think you leave from Miami.
I think so. Let me see. Bachelor cruise. I can pull it up.
Are you going on this?
No, they haven't asked. They haven't asked me, which, I mean, people are getting paid a lot to go on it.
Really? You got numbers?
I mean, I know a lot of people are getting paid at least 10 grand.
What? Mm-hmm. It's like a 3-day cruise. Mm-hmm. Holy shit.
And I think that's like the bare minimum.
Yeah. Some of the big stars I bet are making more. Wow. Okay. So, oh God.
Vacation, Bachelor Nation vacation at sea. And the number is counting. Let's see how many of these couples are still together by the time they set sail. Holy moly. We've got Joan, which I wonder if Chalk is going. He's not on here. Plus more to be announced soon. Ben Higgins, Ben Higgy. Oh, wow. It's kind of a hodgepodge, but like Spencer and Jess are going. Jill Chan, who I love.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
She was on my season. Grant Ellis is going.
Okay.
Onboard experience include. Have you read all these experiences?
No, I haven't. I just also am like
100% down to secure your cabin. Should I do it?
Oh God, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to have big time FOMO when I'm not on it, but I'm also like,
I would love to just be like a fly on the wall. I mean, like, oh my gosh, I have never been on a cruise and I don't know what it is. I don't have a desire to go on a cruise.
I have the opposite.
Stuck with that really?
Yeah. I have not only no desire, I have a strong aversion to it. But I'm curious to know kind of like, what are those players? Are they going to be like animals in a zoo? Are they going to be like, oh, let's hang out with all of our fans and get drunk? Or are they just going to be like, take a picture from over there. I'm on this side of the rope. You're on that side of the rope. I don't know.
I get the impression that it's like I think that it's going to be like, okay, cocktail hour from 5 to 6
Yeah.
and like a mix and mingle. I'm 100% certain. I would think like, I mean, my social batteries get drained pretty quickly, but like, I think is Leslie Fema going? Is she doing like a dance class? I think it's going to be like organized events
Okay.
from
Interesting.
legendary episode screening. So they'll probably like do screenings and then people will walk out and talk about it or Q&As, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Fitness classes with Tyler Cameron.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm going. You've convinced me.
HR. Can you imagine what's going to happen I call it a booze cruise. Like,
of course.
It's for the newlywed or the nearly dead. Just kidding. I would love to go, but they didn't ask me. I would love to go with Umberto. Zen cursing. Let's see, with Sandra Mason. Zen cursing. I don't know what that is.
Her whole thing was she liked to say the word fuck, if you remember.
Oh, Golden Hour with Kathy and Susan podcast live. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Like well organized for sure.
We'll see. All I have to go on is Bachelor Live on Stage, which was not well organized at all. But this is crazy to me. If they're paying $10,000 minimum per each one of these Bachelor players, it's like, how much money do they think they're going to make off of this? That's expensive.
I feel like, and I wonder if the pockets are running dry over there. I don't know, because they probably spend a lot on Paradise.
The pockets are not running dry at all. You like the Bachelor franchise is licensed out to Hulu and ABC. So all network TV is dying. We're aware of this. This last season of Golden Bachelor season 2, which we haven't even got to yet, is it was the worst rated Bachelor product in the history of the franchise, which means the ad money was not coming in like it should have. But that is true of like all network TV. No one is watching it anymore. All the ad rates are going down. Everything is moving to streaming. That said, Bachelor is part of or licensed to Hulu, as are the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, all the ABC shows. That kind of like package, Bachelor is now being interwoven into Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which is their biggest reality show. You have Taylor Frankie Paul as your next Bachelor. It's all kind of becoming this strange incestuous like Bachelor and Mormon Wives are the same thing. Latia Garr is going to be on season 4. They're like the same show almost. And so I think they're not going to get rid of Bachelor. It is making them money even if it's just in proximity to Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds, but I think it's a good sign that they're willing to put this money and effort into this cruise.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's a lot of money I just looked at the list of people. I mean, how are they going to make money off of it? They're going to jack up the prices. I think it's a minimum of like $1,300, I think, for like a basic cabin or something. Don't quote me on that. And I think
you're right. Because I looked it up and I was like, if I'm going, I have to have the big nice room all to myself. And it was like $5,000 or something.
Go. You could write it off as a business expense.
But here's the thing. I think
get your hat on, your bucket hat.
I would probably want to stay in my room the whole time. I don't like shit like that. I don't like being in groups of people. I don't like being trapped on a boat.
Same.
I don't want any of these things to happen to me.
Titanic. I saw how that ended.
No, it just seems like the bachelorness of it would be fantastic, but I don't think I would be able to get over the things that would not be fantastic to me. Just the very nature of what a cruise is. Yeah. It's like Burning Man or something. I will never do that. It's a nightmare to me. Okay. Speaking of nightmares, let's talk about real quick here as we wrap up Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. What do you think the impact of the merger of that franchise with the Bachelor franchise is going to be long-term on Bachelor?
I think it's much more diverse. I think you're attracting I don't know. I want to choose my words carefully. A bigger audience. You're there. I think it's obvious. They want to get those followers or viewers over to the Bachelor. And Taylor Frankie Paul was the perfect person to do it. I am literally watching the show that I've never had any interest in watching and devouring it because I am looking for her facial expressions. She's like, well, say it to my face. And I just think you either got it or you don't. She's raw talent.
I agree.
She makes it look effortless. And I think she's up for the challenge. But I wish I had a crystal ball. I hope it kind of revives it. I've been saying for years they should get a celebrity. And I mean, she's a television personality.
She's got 5 million TikTok followers or
That's
over, you know?
insane.
Yeah,
and the
she's
show,
gigantic.
like she's already pimping out the show. And the thing that I think that's going to be tricky for her is the timing of it and not spoiling the show. And the people that do watch it to find that, you know, to believe that, okay, maybe she's going to find her happy ever after, because you watch the show and you're like, man, these guys are like, she does deserve it. And she's open-minded. So I don't know. I hope that it revives the franchise selfishly.
Of course. Selfishly, I think we all hope that. Everybody who watches The Bachelor knows it's like not in a good place in terms of like
I've had so many people write me, Chad, that are like, I haven't been watching in years and I'm going to watch now. Like avid fans.
Totally.
And I think it's a lot to put on her shoulders. I think it's going to be a wild season. What are you hearing about how it's going?
I am hearing from very credible sources that I don't want to comment on like the guys or anything, but just some of the stuff Scott Teddy is doing creatively, some of the events that he is putting together, some of the players that are, and we saw a little bit of this on Instagram. There were a bunch of different bachelorettes making some Instagram reels and stuff together maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw
and being
that.
like, we know something you don't know. Well, I know what they know as well. And it's going to be fantastic. Like the instincts feel exactly right to me in terms of some of these things that Scott Teddy is going to be injecting into this season. I don't know how the play is going to be. I can't imagine Taylor Frankie Paul is going to be boring. Whatever she's doing, we're going to love it.
Even
however
that
she's treating these guys.
Of her sitting on the, during Mel Owen's finale, that was the most exciting thing apart from Peg's personality that I saw.
Yeah,
it was her sitting out there with Jesse on the little veranda, and
100%.
She's got a lot to offer. So we shall see. I hope it revives it, and I hope we get some good, contestants out of it. I will say that other than Taylor Frankie Paul, which they switched it up, I think a lost casting opportunity was Susie Evans.
Absolutely.
And
there's so many lost leads.
So many lost leads. Like Susie Evans.
Me.
Oh my gosh. And I think that's when you talk about like there was a couple years, and I think that was just the show and how it went. But I think it was also casting decisions. I really do. Totally.
But with Taylor Frankie Paul, like to me, the most interesting thing about her, we know she's going to be a superstar. She already is. We get all of that. She is an influencer. For since really Instagram came about, or since Instagram started to become a thing that you could be an influencer, make money, 2010, 2011, somewhere in there.
Right.
Or maybe a little later, 2012, whatever. Right around Andy Dorfman and Caitlin Bristow's seasons 10 and 11 of Bachelorette. Right
after I set sail.
Yeah, basically the next year.
I was like this on the sand, like, wait, I've got 38,000 followers.
I know. Listen, it's going to come back around. All things old will be new again. You are going to get on Traders or something and explode, just like Carolyn Weiger did. Okay, this is what I'm saying about Taylor Frankie Paul, though. She's a bona fide influencer. That is her job. So you can no longer, in my opinion, use that as a for the wrong reasons attack in this game. And the show itself has to change its attitude about what social media and being an influencer even means in the franchise.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's going to be real shitty. And it's like they're rubbing right against each other. This past season of Golden Bachelor, Nicole was like, I want to be an influencer. And they were like, you're the devil. Fuck you. Get off this show. Exactly. But now you got a Bachelorette who has 5 million fucking TikTok followers, and that's her literal job.
Yep.
And she's that's one of the things that drives me the craziest on Secret Lives of Normal Lives, when they're like, you're just here for the clout. It's like, what am I? You're all, that's the whole deal. That's what mom talk is.
They do these little TikToks throughout the whole show. And I'm like, exactly. Wait, what am I watching? What's the caption? Yeah. I mean, this is what they built their brand on. And I think we've seen this. I mean, it goes back to my Bachelor, right, Ben?
Yeah.
After we were engaged, we were in the real world. He's like, Courtney, you were naive to go on a show thinking that you were going to find love. Like, I just went on to promote my winery. I mean, people have been going on the show to promote whatever to get to the next thing for so long. Not everybody. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I agree with you. And I think it goes back to the show. Like, even when I did that guest appearance for Zach Shalcroft, like they were people doing social media. Like, they've been trying to elevate, like, okay, we have Bachelor Nation, like TikToks now. Like, they're trying to do that, but they just haven't been, in my opinion, going at a fast enough speed.
No, no show really does this either, by the way. Not even Love Island. Love Island at least has their little app, and they will bring components of social media into the show to be like, oh, look at this Instagram thing that somebody said you were a piece of shit. React, whatever. Yeah. But nobody is making a show that supports the social media numbers and handles and really features it as like a prominent piece of the narrative of whatever's happening, which is, if you come on the show, you're going to get famous. Yeah. That is a huge piece of the narrative that we as fans are all following. Who comes out of a Love Island season with the most followers? I mean, we literally track it on Game of Roses when we're in season of a Bachelor show, like week to week, the numbers, as you're moving up or down. That's like how fans watch the show now. And
I love Married at First Sight. Like, I followed I love that show because it's like, let's just go to, like, there's so many shows. Love is Blind. Okay. We're just going to get engaged. Married at First Sight. We're going to walk up to the altar. Amazing casting. And I follow the people that have raw talent, that are funny, that I'm like, I actually want to see what they do in real life, or see how they talk or how they present. I'm not going to follow anybody that's just boring.
Of course. I mean, I view social media as an art form, and, people can use it for whatever they want to use it for. But like the people who are doing it at a high level, which includes SpawnCon, by the way, making interesting sponsored content, that to me is art. It's as important as like advertising is in terms of the history of marketing and all of that kind of stuff.
Ashley Iaconetti.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, I don't even know I'm being sold something until it's an ad.
When they were doing their baby reveal on Amazon Live, I was like, Jesus, they got it down. But that
I tuned in.
Believe me, I watched the whole thing. But that idea of, I want to go to somebody's social media account. It's not just to like see their life and who they are and shit. I also want to see what they are making artistically. Mm-hmm. Are they good at making this type of a thing, or do they have a certain style? I remember
it's the way of the world.
Totally. Deanie Babies, Dean Ungler. I remember following him after, God, whatever season of Paradise that was, where he did the experimental mustache play. And his social media is impeccable. It is beautifully shot, travel, blog kind of stuff. I mean, just funny. Astounding. Yeah. And he's an amazing photographer. Like, it's not just about, I want to, see what they're eating or whatever. But even that, we saw, you remember Matt James or Rachel Kirkconnell, the whole big thing was, she didn't pick the right restaurant for me to make.
I don't want to see Matt James with his beak eating a slice of pizza. I was watching for her.
I'll watch it all day long.
You do?
I will watch anything any Bachelor player ever does. I have a bad taste
in my mouth about Matt James.
Yeah. Well,
but I agree, though. Sorry to step on you.
No problem.
And Dean was on my season along with Noah Erb, and I love Noah. I just followed him, and I think also he's with Kaylin, and then Noah is with Abigail. And so it's like fun to see that, like, their lives together, and they're married now, and Dean and Kaylin are married. Like, they're probably going to start a family, I would think, at some point. But that's the hopeless romantic in me, and it will be interesting to see. To take it one step farther, I do think it also translates into letting your guests go on podcasts and not silencing them. Of course. Like I said, I just got like Love is Blind, and these people, when I've dealt with other networks, they're like, yes, like it's promotion. It's like
100%
your audience, like bringing audiences together, and not, I mean, I know you get the screeners. It's not about the screeners, but I wish that they would give them a little bit more rope.
Totally. I think that this goes back to that thing I was talking about, where there's like a fear that there's going to be loss of control by the people who make these shows, the networks, as well as the producers. That has to be gone. If you allowed Bachelor players to go on all of these various podcasts immediately, like while their season is airing, and talk about the crazy behind this producer did this to me and I got manipulated to this, that would be huge. Controversy in these shows is gigantic. You would have more people watching it. And I don't get why they don't understand that. It's a very like old school network TV mentality of like, we make the sausage, but they don't get to see how. And it's like, but we want to see how, and then we'll watch the sausage too. We want to see how it's made, and then
get
eat
to
it.
see the sausage when Gary Turner writes a tell-all book, which I'm sure ABC had to approve. Or, I mean, it just comes out later on. So it's like you can only silence people for so long.
But then it's kind of like too little too late. That was multiple years ago, you know. We're already on to Mel Owens and how he seems to be living and dead simultaneously. All right, Courtney.
Sorry,
thank you so much.
Rattled on. I was so excited to see you.
This was fantastic. I love this.
Trim the fat.
Yeah, no. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about this stuff with me. When your show comes out, the Bachelor Renovation Show, will you come back on and we can discuss perhaps a few of the scenes, a few of the speeches you give?
Ding, 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 ding. Anytime. And I hope you're proud of me.
Oh my God, you have no idea. Getting those texts, those late night texts, and going on those late night Zooms and just being, okay, here's what you got to do. You got to go do an apologize play and then just spin it into this and do it. Here's a little speech I wrote. I mean, that shit was like, it's like crack to me. I love it.
Well, it really helped me out a lot because, you know, part of me going on the show was like, you know, you lose yourself as being a mom, and I haven't been on TV in a while, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Like, it took me a while to kind of find my voice, but I found it.
How'd you like it? How'd you like being back in front of the camera? What did it feel like?
I liked it. It took me a while to kind of like, you know, like I didn't want to be in a swimsuit. I've had 3 babies. Like, I'm not going skinny dipping, or am I? I mean, you know, like I'm away from my kids. Like I'm married now. I'm clutching my pearls, but it was so much fun. I really loved it. It was such an amazing experience, a far more positive experience than what I went through.
Yeah.
I'm also older and wiser, and I also have friends in good places.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we can't wait to watch it. And like I said, please come back on around that time.
Anytime. I want to have you on after reality soon. I took the holidays off. So I can't wait to see what happens next for the franchise. Do you think, to leave everybody, are you hopeful that it's gonna? Okay.
Totally. I think Taylor Frankie Paul is going to have more people watching that show than they have had watching it in a very long time. I think you're going to see all the articles come out after her night 1, record ratings. It hasn't been like this since Hannah Brown. You know, you're going to see that type of shit because the sway she holds over her audience, the 5 million people on TikTok, they're all watching the show, as are the kind of diehard Bachelor fans like me and Lizzie. I just think it's going to be gigantic.
It's a perfect storm.
Yeah. And I hope they learn their lesson that, like, you got to lean into influencers now. Reality TV and social media are the same thing. And I don't know why the people who make reality TV don't get that yet, but they are the same thing. And if you embrace it, like they seem to be doing here, but I also am like, I'm slightly hesitant because I'm like, do they know what they're doing? Or are they just like, get the big star from our other reality show? I don't know.
Well, I know that I was reached out to for Mel Owens, like if I knew of anybody to be the Golden Bachelor, and I reached out to some people. There was a celebrity that was interested in doing it, and they said, we don't want any celebrities. Would have been much better than Mel Owens.
That too is like the...
And I think that they were trying to replace him up until the final hour, and they couldn't find anybody.
I don't know. I have conflicting information on that.
You do?
Yeah. My understanding is they were
casting was reaching out to some of the previous Golden gals, trying to find people. But who knows? There's so many different... What was your thing? They were just like, let's just ride this. Yeah,
they were like, the podcast doesn't mean anything. No one will care.
All right.
But to your point about, you know, looking for a celebrity lead, and I'm sure you knew this too from the guys you were talking to who are going to potentially be the Bachelor that would have been shooting in place of Taylor Frankie Paul's season. None of the guys I was talking to were like celebrities of any kind. They were all sub 5,000 Instagram.
Sub 5,000.
You know, living normal lives with normal jobs. And they really did want to get married and settle down. And they were, at least seemingly, they were trying to go in the opposite direction to find somebody who is like the furthest thing from an influencer they could.
Right.
Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, not only is there no Bachelor, the Bachelorette's going to have 5 million TikTok followers. And I was just like, well, but what?
Wait,
so it seems to me like it was a weird kind of decision that was in the zeitgeist. And somebody at ABC was like, well, wait a minute, can we actually make this happen? I know Nick Viall takes credit for coming up with the idea to make a reality star the star of a reality show.
What doesn't he take credit for? Come on.
For real.
Come on now. Get over yourself, bro.
I don't know. I don't know how it happened. I'm glad it happened. And I think she is definitely going to rejuvenate the franchise. And 2026, I just think is going to be a wild year in Bachelor. We know that we're going to have that. And we know we're going to have the Bachelor cruise. Those are the only two things we're certain of. But I think we might see a pretty full slate. I don't think we're going to get a Bachelor next year, which sucks.
Paradise?
But I think we'll get Paradise. I think we'll probably get another Golden something. And
send Nicole down there. Nicole.
God, I would love to see her as a Bachelorette. All right, Courtney, thank you so much for joining us. Please tell everybody where they can hear you, see you, etc.
This old thing, I'm still doing After Reality Pod, POD. That's just my email at gmail.com if you want to send in questions. At Bug Robertson on Instagram. You can see little behind the scenes of my kids. What else? That's really it. And then Bachelor Mansion Takeover, which airs in February 2026. Booyah. Kasha.
God, I can't wait. Well, thank you again,
Thanks for having
Courtney.
me, Chad. Anytime.
My pleasure.
Please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us. And then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast.